Hello, this is Angel Cobo from the Mobile Judge team, here to present to you the shortcomings, which are features that were not able to be implemented, and the wish list, which refers to additional touches and revisions that I personally suggest for future iterations of the Mobile Judge application. As for shortcomings, these will be split in different sections, starting with the syncing from VIP to Mobile Judge. Firstly, upon syncing, data on students' image profiles set on VIP would also be set on MJ. The way it basically works in VIP is that upon importing an image for a student, the image itself gets encoded into a very long string, meaning that if we were to receive such an enormous string of data, we would have to decode it, and it proved to be an arduous task. So our suggestion for this is to work closely with the VIP team so that the necessary changes are made on their end, so that a URL is sent alongside the data that we fetch from VIP. Secondly, the sync information should be revised, particularly the student update column. And there's a bug where if we were to assign another project to a student on MJ, and it does not match what we have on VIP, then it will appear under this column. But the current implementation disregards this and simply denotes the student as unchanged. We suggest you look at the API, specifically in the students and terms routes, and try to understand the queries that are being ran over there. Thirdly, add a checkbox to tables in the sync view to choose what to sync. If you want to sync only specific data, then we should have a way to do so. And lastly, finish the implementation of syncing all semesters from VIP to MJ. Everything related to semesters in VIP should be added onto MJ basically, though we would still avoid deletion of terms upon syncing with this method in order to ensure no data from past semesters is lost, such as student grades. And now for judges, information, and reports. We want to accept other formats when importing judges. Currently, it only accepts the format of email, first name, and last name. We suggest to implement other popular formats, such as full name email. We also want to separate name fields in Judge's report when exporting, since it currently only exports the full name. And lastly, we want to support more detailed judge reports, meaning that all the grades given by each judge to each student is advised for this particular report and implementation. Now, as for the registration process, first, we want to show the default configured students per judge value during check-in so judges can have an idea of how many students that will be assigned during their registration. Second, we want to increase the amount of students that the system supports storing in records. We ran into an issue where when judges were trying to choose students that were a conflict of interest, not all the students are showing up because of the amounts that could have been shown in this listing was not set correctly. Since only more students will be added to the database each semester, this needs to be revised. Third, we want to sort the list of students by team in conflict of interest declaration, meaning that we want to order the listings based on the projects and not just the students as well. What could be done is organize the projects alphabetically and then organize the students that belong to that project alphabetically as well. And lastly, the mobile judge view. We had some issues where views are not being loaded using the mobile version. Our suggestion is to look into the modern folder within the development source code and ensure that everything is set in a similar fashion to how classic, the desktop version, is arranged. There were also a couple of bugs that judges reported to us while we were helping them with the registration process, which were being unable to scroll during the evaluation process, boxes disappearing in some of the judges' devices, no students being assigned to judges if no courses are picked during the registration process, and some devices had issues scrolling down when picking students that were of conflict of interest. So, as for the wish list, we wish for a revision of the judge registration process. We ran into many issues while trying to help judges register into the event, including poor reception within the building where the showcase was being held, plenty of bugs surfacing during the registration process, etc. Our suggestion is to change the registration process so that judges can pick out the courses that they wish to grade for ahead of time. This will make it so upon the day of the event, all that judges will need to do is log in, and then they get the list of students. Any judge that did not undergo this process, particularly those that sign up with the third registration token, would still have to go through the same process that is currently implemented in Mobile Judge. We also wish for an improvements on the judge view when grading students. And lastly, we wish for there to be a beta testing phase for the application to ensure that the mobile version works across many different kinds of phones. This is to make sure that everything is working as intended during the event and mitigate the amount of help judges will need during the registration process and judging phases. This concludes this presentation. We hope that future teams are able to implement the missing features that were mentioned in this presentation, and that our suggestions to improve the registration process as a whole are considered. Thank you.